2023 is in the books and it ends very much like 2022. Welcome back to the Don Pod. I'm Sam. I'm joined by Nathan, who is tucking into some sort of snack at present. You'd almost think we didn't choose to hit record. Hello, Nathan.
It's lunchtime, Sam, and I was just finishing some lunch.
It's 1:30. It's about an hour and a half past.
It's a Saturday, Sam. It's you know what it's like on a Saturday. Go on though.
Hello, how are
Don't
you?
make it about me.
Are you
this
well?
is not about me.
Are you well? Are you good?
I'm excellent, thank you. Except for the obvious issues.
Well, apart from the football, yeah. Essendon 3 goals, 13. Yikes! Are defeated by Collingwood. Everything we want to be and more. 16-5-101 in front of about 75,000 at the MCG. So missing about 15,000 Essendon members. Myself included, you included.
Yeah, I was nowhere in hell was I going.
Yeah, sorry, you can't lose by 21 goals and then expect us to drive 12 hours essentially to get there. I'll read through the goal scorers because it's quite a quick job this week. Wiedemann 2, Langford 1. There we go, finished.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
You're allowed to laugh. It is my attempt at humour, even though you do say you're the funny one. 3 goals, 13-31. We thought last week was bad. We scored 5-6-36, I believe.
I feel like last week was bad. Like, I don't think we should.
Yeah, okay, fair point, but still. Initial thoughts from you, please.
I'm trying my hardest to temper my frustration and anger and disappointment and all those things and try not to, overreact because I'm still confused at the club that at the halfway mark, roughly, we'll go with that, at the bye round was looking like definitely a top 8 side. I don't think we thought we were a top 4 side or anything, but we thought, we could be around the mark at the end of the year if this keeps going. We played good foot against good sides. We'd beaten a few sides below us, which we'd always sort of struggle with. So at that point there, things were good. And then pretty much the same group of players, like we've even had players come back, like Peter Wright, we've somehow got worse. And I'm just super confused and super frustrated at some of the things I've seen in the last few weeks that have driven me to the point of I've lost a lot of faith in, I think, the coaching staff. I won't put it to one individual, but I believe I'm going to focus my attention. I think the players are at fault as well, but I think the coaching staff has done things I cannot work out.
Mm-hmm. Well, just 2 things to back up that. So after round 17, we were 36 points and 17 wins. 17 wins. 5th on the ladder.
Whoa, fine.
No, 5th on the ladder, 9 wins and 7 losses. 5th.
Yep.
From there, we progression, loss 8th, loss 11th, loss 13th, win 12th, win 9th, loss 10th. 9th, sorry, and we are now 10th, I believe, and can drop as low as 13th, which at this point I'm okay with. I'm okay with us dropping at this point.
I did see a stat, I was just trying to look for it then, that we're something in the last 4 games we've had a percentage of 64%, which is beyond disgusting.
Now, you said something there about there's some blame on the players and there's some blame on the coaches. I want to just talk about, and this will be a monologue, so bear with me.
Go.
I've oversold it now. But anyway, after last night's game, I watched it, then turned it off at full time. Didn't need to listen to the Collingwood theme song. No. After listening to them do the Collingwood chant in the second quarter.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. How tiny is our club? Zach Merritt, sick of ending our season in August, and it's time to get past being a mediocre club. Kyle Langford, it's a shit feeling. And there were other quotes from Kyle, but I can't find them right now. Now, hang on. Do you understand the point of a monologue?
Well, I can give you. I'll be asking Scotty for some answers because we had 5th or 6th. We were 5th or 6th at one stage. There you go. I just
Who was that? Who was that?
That was Langford.
Langford. Okay, thank you. I knew,
but I thought he said I'm going to ask Scotty for some answers.
Right.
So,
thanks. I can't quite wrap my head around this. So, Merritt and Langford have joined forces and done a combined investigation in the club as to what's gone wrong, and they've cleared themselves essentially. It's a shit feeling, sick of ending our season in August, and it's time to get past being a mediocre club. Guess what? When you lose by 21 goals one week, you come out the next week and you concede 8 in the first quarter. That's on you. Where was your effort? Where was your intensity? And this is the whole team, not just those two. What are you doing? Like, you can't just sit there and, we're sick of it. We're sick of being a mediocre club. You're part of it. You're part of the problem, clearly. Be part of the fucking solution. I just can't fathom that either the media department's told them to say that.
No,
it's pretty consistent messaging.
Yeah. No, I think that's just genuinely their feel. I agree with you, but see, I think that the concern for me is that we had this problem under Truck, and the rumor. Remember this rumor that the players were driving the sort of culture of if they didn't like it, they wouldn't do it, and Truck would change. Now we heard those sort of rumors, didn't we? And we're like, that can't be true.
And then once you change coaches, and then we started playing well, we started to believe and go, hey, they might have had a point. They might have been true. And then you look at how we finished last year against Port Adelaide and Richmond, and then this year now against Geelong and Collingwood, and you go, well, fuck, we're in the exact same position, albeit with 4 extra wins.
Yep.
But, I mean, again, the simple argument is we played West Coast and North twice.
Yeah, and we had a hard
scraped
draw
over
last
North
year.
twice, and West Coast one of those times.
But last year we were getting flogged. Like we were getting flogged at the start of the year. Like they didn't even turn up with effort. Like remember that first Geelong game last year?
Yeah, I was playing in a cricket grand final, so I didn't watch.
And there was a few games in that. I think we played Port early on too. And those teams were just smoking us. At least this year we started well. Like, and that's what I'm really confused. Like we started well, things were going. Langford was playing well up forward. They kept trying to put him back. We couldn't quite work it out. Midfield group looked good. We're seeing some new players, in different positions or half sort of new positions.
My point here a little bit is that if the players are feeling like that, and your captain speaks for your club, sick of ending the season in August, time to stop being or getting past and being a mediocre club.
Be better.
Yeah, be better. Like, I mean, I don't want to single out players because it's obviously a collective, but the moment last week when Redmond dropped the easy mark and then just watched his opponent run away, you went, well, shit, we're screwed. And the point last night where Luke Hodge was the first to pick it up on commentary, Myercheck's having a shot and Redmond's hands on knees, hunched over, looking at the ground, and the actual shot didn't actually go that far over what Redmond would have been able to sort of try and smother. You compare that to the effort of Jeremy Howe, the fourth quarter,
the smother.
Making a smother when you're 11 goals up and you probably could be forgiven for trying to keep yourself cherry ripe.
Yep.
For finals.
They got a bit of a dodgy arm.
They didn't need percentage.
No.
A win was enough.
Yep.
And you're still putting in the effort that's required or expected of.
And that's my question around. Well, there was effort at the first half of the year. Like we were seeing all those effort. We were seeing defensive running. We were defending the ground better. We were doing all those sort of things. But the last 4 weeks we just got over West Coast and North. Let's not even talk about. If they'd been slightly better teams, we would have lost both those. Games.
And by a lot.
Yeah. And so this form had been happening for sort of 5 or 6 weeks. But why does the effort drop off? And my question around that is I understand that's the players to get up and play well, but over that whole period, no one was dropped. It's not like if you talk about Redmond's effort, you talk about other players when playing. No one was through the year they dropped Wiedemann because he wasn't kicking goals.
He had a period of bad form.
But it's still. Was he the fault? I look at that and go, but that's not that's actually a player we kind of needed. And I thought in that game last night, I know he's kicking, but he marks the ball. We do not have a tall forward, and would argue probably not going to have a tall defender next year who can mark the ball.
It's going to be
the luck of BZT is occasionally marks the ball. Laverde doesn't mark the ball enough. He gets beaten by smalls and talls. Our forwards. Wright hasn't marked the ball in the last 3 weeks, I don't think, unless it's been on his chest. Langford is doing everything right. I'm not going to pick on him, but at least with the thing I don't get is at least, and here's another one, Bryant. He seems to mark the ball too. You've got to, in AFL football at the moment, you've got to have some guys that take marks, contested marks and or just, uncontested. But we do not have anyone that can take marks. And then you drop a player. And my point is that, so you don't, over the last 5-6 weeks, a horrible football. No one gets dropped, and then you bring in Tip and Woody this week. Now, I'm all for I'm actually not all for a send-off game for a guy who's played 130 games. I've loved Tip and Woody, nothing against him, but I don't think he deserved another. He's already retired. He left us a couple of years ago.
He's doing his best job,
and that was his chance. Yeah.
Yep.
And this was another opportunity, and I'll go back to 3 years ago, I think it was. We didn't play Bell Chambers in the last game of the year because we wanted to play Draper against Max Gawn because of the experience. And Bell Chambers, actually, 130 games, didn't get his last little hurrah.
You can get a
and
send-off.
I thought that's the sort of decisions you have to make the players a bit more hungry, a bit tougher. Like that's footy. Sorry,
he actually did get a send-off.
No, I'm pretty sure we remember talking about it, you and I.
Yeah.
And anyway, he might have come out and got chaired off after the game, but he didn't get picked. And anyway, so I feel like, instead of Tim Woody, it could have been just a Davey playing against the top team, just get the experience. Or even I would have loved to see a Voss get a go.
Yep. And the counter to that, or not the counter, the other part of that too is it's our home game. So if we want to honour
players,
Waller, whatever we want to do, you bring him out before the game. Everyone gets a chance to, thanks, Tipper.
Yep.
Highlight reel.
Yep. Play the North, mate.
Just hang that goal against North Melbourne in the Louvre, and happy days. But yeah, I get it. And what shits me more, just on that before you move on, because I know you're going to.
I've got one more,
Collingwood, appreciate the respect shown to form your guard of honour. Overdone. Sorry. Andrew Phillips and Waller, special player, well, Waller in particular, special player to us, for sure. Yep. Electric, all that sort of stuff. Let's save the guard of honour.
Came to us in a very ugly time.
Yes. Let's save the guard of honour for 300 gamers or guys that have played premierships. They're the kind of ones we need to be thinking guard of honour, not 130 and barely even 100 game ruckman. Let's appreciate them, but we don't need it.
No, I agree with that. I think that's a little bit overdone. I don't want to be a Kane Corns in this situation.
Well, I actually agree with Kane Corns.
Oh, don't say that.
He said that we're a bit nice. The Essendon Football Club's a bit nice.
I agree with that. And this is... I've been saying this for years. I'd love to see some Essendon players with tattoos because I can't remember. Name the last Essendon player that had a sleeve.
Yeah. And we've been talking about Mr. Ginnivan. How much did you want to punch him in the head last night?
Lots. So many times.
Exactly right.
Didn't even have a sleeve.
And I respect it.
Well, he gets the job done, is the thing that
annoying.
Burns you. Yeah.
He got that free kick for the high tackle. Fly reacted. All the team reacted to the fact he got a high free kick. And he's sitting there smirking.
He gets under skin.
The little prick.
Yeah, he gets under your skin. And
I say the little prick. It's nothing but admiration.
He kicked 3 goals, didn't he? 3 goals, 2 or something? 3 goals, 1?
I just want to smash him in the face. In the nicest possible way.
And the other one I just want to quickly bring up is Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
So he announced his retirement, I want to say 4 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, not sure. And so last week they picked him and Draper, and I thought, oh, well, that's interesting. And they dropped Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll go back to why? Why do you drop a guy who's retiring? Sorry, why do you keep the guy who's retiring and not play Draper in for the experience? You got to start getting games into him.
Brian.
Yeah. And so there's no point playing Phillips. I understand why there's a point to playing this because Draper's injured, so you're going in with 2 ruckmen. I don't understand the whole 2 ruckman theory at the moment.
Last week it should have been Draper and Brian.
Yeah, Brian.
That's correct. And then this week,
and then everyone's injured.
On that, another thing, why the hell was Stringer and Draper brought back last week?
Exactly.
And then injured this week. It's like, what
was
the point?
Well, I'll tell you what my theory on that is, that I think that Scott thought he could get us into a final. I reckon he was there going...
And they come out and got beaten by 21 goals.
Yep. I reckon he thought that we win this game. I get into, we can, maybe get over. If the tables go the right way, we might sneak across against Collingwood. They're down on form. We could get into a final if, the other games fall our way, which they could have with actually the way the results fell last week. If we'd won, then, and, the strange
we
results.
lost by 21
I know.
Goals.
And then all of a sudden they're all injured this week. I went, well, that's hilarious because, that doesn't sit well with me either. You pushed them all out there. Got flogged and went, okay, let's...
Would have been better off not playing
them. Play the fucking kids.
Not play them.
6 weeks ago, they should have started playing kids like Voss.
Well, we kind of sort of did, but not really.
Did we? Who?
Sardis.
Who did we play?
Sardis got the gig.
Yep, but
And we've been
Probably
playing kids
deservedly
all
so.
week a little bit in terms of Hobbs and Caldwell.
But there's
Well,
okay, so
Hobbs.
Voss has
Voss,
kicked
I think.
3 goals, 2 or
Yeah,
something.
Voss is an
2 goals, 3.
anomaly. I agree with the
Yep.
Voss, but who else would you have brought in?
Well, I would have had Wiedemann a few weeks earlier. I would
Let's
have
not
probably
play the
played
kids.
Stewart played kicked 5 goals
Let's not
last
play the
week.
kids.
No, but it's playing other guys, maybe is what I'm trying to say. Is that
Throw the magnets around a little
throw
bit.
the maggots around. Some aren't working. So you just go, well, let's try. Like it was rinse and repeat. Bring Snelling in, take Snelling out. Bring Snelling in, bring Snelling out. Throw someone else in there with him. Bring Snelling in, bring Snelling out. Like that's all we could do. And it was embarrassing.
It was the same players.
If Snelling's
going in and out.
is the only player we can bring in out of the VFL, then I've got problems with our VFL team.
Nah, they were pretty average.
That's true. They haven't been great either.
Now, just sidestep a little bit.
Yep.
Just for a minute. I want to touch briefly on our own performance, the Don Pod.
Go the Don Pod.
From last week. Now, when we lost by 126, I don't really feel like the Pod's going to do that well. I feel like generally sustained shitness generally performs pretty well. And upset wins generally perform pretty well.
Remember last year we had to, for our own sanity, we had to stop doing 2 a week.
We stopped doing 2 a week. Yeah.
Oh, we were not healthy.
The YouTube video, I haven't looked at the numbers for Spotify and Apple. The YouTube video, we've only had 2 videos ever get 1,000 views. And both of them were last year.
Mm.
This year, 3, 4, 500 views. Perfectly fine. I'm very happy with that world. The review from last week got over 2,000 views. So big thank you from us. That is just enormous. I can't fathom why that might be because that's 2,000 absolute suckers for punishment. Says the guy here recording a podcast.
And it's fascinating that it was such a horrible loss that people wanted to hear and talk about it. Because personally, you and I struggled to have that at the start of that podcast last week. We were like, oh, do we have to talk about how shit we are? Like,
what are we going to talk about?
What are we going to say? God, we're shit. Burn that. My theory's been the last few plays. Burn the place down and start again.
Yeah. Yeah. And secondly, just for what's coming over the next couple of weeks. So I haven't actually spoken to you about this yet. Probably shouldn't be doing this for the first time on recording. But anyway, next weekend, we'll look to do a full season review.
Like that
where we will go through player by player and rate and cut and, do our full list management.
We're going to be brutal.
Oh, if I did it today, sack them all except Langford and Merritt, honestly. That's the 2 I'd keep. The rest
and Brian. I'm a big fan of
and
Brian.
Hobbs, actually. I like Hobbs.
Yeah.
Kind of defeats the purpose of being, well, I'll cut them all except 25 players.
Well, you can't cut them all. You have to have someone turn up next year.
And then depending on what happens through trade period, we'll look to do little videos here and there, but they probably won't be full pods.
And the start of that is that Stewart, who I would have thought could have snuck in. I find this a fascinating one. So Stewart's been delisted with a year to go on his contract.
Pretty handy depth, I would have thought.
Well, he's a 190, I'm going to say 9 centimetre, been playing defender and forward. BZT's very, very strong rumours that he's going to leave. And
got a 4-year deal in front of him at Port.
Yep, and Mackay, I can't see that happening because Sydney are in the discussions and they're going to offer whatever the hell they want because they've always got more money and more. The only thing that'll hold him there is if he wants to actually stay in Victoria. Like that'll be the only thing because who wouldn't want to go play for Sydney?
Well, if my choice right now, if I was trying not to be biased, Sydney's probably my first
Sydney,
option.
you're going to play in grand finals, whereas you come to Essendon,
earn the same money and be good.
Yeah, and if you're leaving North, you don't want to go to Essendon at the moment. You go, could be worse. I'm not doing that.
Given the picks that North are going to get, yeah.
Well, that's another thing I'm not that happy about.
Yeah.
But, so we're going to lose. There's going to be fascinating what happens. Anyway, these are things that are all out of our control. We just wait for them to happen and go, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I could bring up a conversation about Dodoro, but
we'll save that for next week.
Can't be bothered.
At some point because I can't understand it. Anyway, I did a little comparison.
Yep.
So last year, general consensus, we can't defend.
Yes.
First part of the year, holy shit, we might be able to defend.
Yep.
This year, I mean. Second part of this year, holy shit, we can't defend. And that's team defense, not not back six, even though I've got issues. But
well, it's all about team defense. It's all about midfielders getting up and helping out and all that sort of shit.
So I compared
I
compared 2022 to 2023.
Yep.
Now we're at the end. I can compare the whole seasons. We
Look
are
at you doing
averaging.
data.
I know it's your job, literally. We are averaging 0.9 more points per game. So less than 1 point per game more this year.
Scores 4.
Points for.
Yep. Okay, gotcha.
1 point.
1 point more
per
a game.
Yes.
Well, that's shit ass. So we're the same.
Now, look. If you told me at the start of the year you're going to average the same points for but improving your defence, I'd cop it.
Yep, you go. Well, that's the way you need to improve.
We are averaging.
Mm-hmm.
I should have done this maths a little bit sooner.
Oh, God, he's doing maths on the fly. People, please check these numbers.
5.8 points less
So
against
6.
a goal.
Yep.
A goal less a game.
And where did we rank last year? Just, do you know,
I can have too much.
Oh, sorry. Just out of curiosity, so points against from last year.
I can find it very quickly. It's okay.
Yeah, sorry. Because that'd be interesting to say. So if we were, say, I'm going to say bottom 6 last year, because that's about our ladder possession. So if we've improved by 1 goal a game, that wouldn't push you up a lot in that. And if you're not scoring.
We were third last. We were one of 3 clubs to hit 2,000 points against.
Yep.
So North and West Coast were worse.
We were the third worst. This year, where are we for points against? Just out of curiosity in the ladder. Please, Jim.
Third last.
What?
Third last.
The last.
But
because we played one game.
Third last.
But we played an extra game.
If Hawthorn concede more than 42,
which they surely will, 42.
That will be worse. And then next is Richmond, who would need to concede about 160.
No, that's not happening. So we're going to finish 4th last.
Which
4th worst.
Well, the ladder is a bit less relevant. The numbers alone.
Yeah, it's the numbers. It's look. The fact of the matter is, we know premiership teams are usually the best at defending and top 2 or 3 in goal kicking.
So 2,050 points against for us this year. St Kilda are actually the best defence.
Yep. So if you're at the opposite end of that, then you are
points.
As far as away from winning premierships as you can possibly be.
Because defence
wins championships.
No, okay, well, yeah, premierships, same thing.
That's what you say, anyway. He was a
Interestingly, it was Sir Alex Ferguson, soccer guy. How dare you?
I don't know.
Soccer guy, Sir Alex.
Funny first name,
only the greatest to ever do it. Anyway. Interestingly, St Kilda and Carlton are the best 2 defences in the comp, followed by Melbourne, Western Bulldogs, and then Collingwood, and then Brisbane. And
this leads me on to another point I'll make that makes me still concerned about the coaches as much as the players, is that so at the start of the end of last year, 3 clubs got new coaches.
Mm-hmm.
GWS, us, and St Kilda. Is that correct? Yeah.
That is
only 3, wasn't it?
At least those 3, yes.
When those 3. If anyone else has got another one, let us know. GWS had finished that year below us on 5 wins. I think we finished on 6 wins, something like that, or around those sort of numbers.
Wish you'd warned me. I would have kept the freaking
2022
ladder open.
Yeah, and then St Kilda, I think, finished on 11 wins. So they, second a coach at the end of 11 wins. We would love to do that. And then GWS now are playing for what should be a top 8 spot this week. They've got a very good shot at it. And I wouldn't have thought of this. Yeah, well, they're in there at the moment. I think if they lose and the Doggies win, they might drop out or something like that, isn't
Depends
it?
on percentage. Yep.
Yeah. But so I wouldn't have thought at the start of the year, if you and I were to sit down there and say, who's got a better list, GWS or us, I would have said about the same. Maybe even us better. Would that be fair?
I would have had probably the same, if not them, a little bit better. But
don't forget, they lost Taranto and
yeah,
Hopper.
But just in terms of the pillars, the poles, front, back.
Yeah, yep. But we thought at the start, we've got Peter Wright, we've got
we've got Zach Thatcher. Yeah, great. Anyway, go on.
Ridley, but I didn't.
Yeah. I'm
for
just
them
being
to be
negative.
playing for. I guess my point is that we've now finished the year as a shambles. Are we in a shambles? As a shambles, I don't know.
Both work.
And they're still, and what hurts more is they flogged us last week by 130 odd points, and they're still playing finals. Those other 2 teams will all play finals. Now, I think St Kilda were probably a better side than us anyway, which hurts to say because I hate them. But yeah, we're still a long way, and there's a possibility, a very strong possibility, we could be worse next year because, as we said, if BCT goes,
yeah, that makes it hard.
Parrish leaves and a few other guys leave, then we're like, well, I don't. Don't see where we're going to get improvement from.
It's continuing to get it out of the Hobbs, Caldwells, Perkins, Coxes, Reeds. Hopefully, might play a bit more next year. That's where you hope.
If Reed doesn't play next year, then you have to give up on that.
No, you don't, because he's still only 21.
He's got to play some VFL though next year. Not break
play
down
some VFL, yeah.
Not break down.
Not
what
play
I'm
AFL.
Yeah.
But even still, Charlie Curnow was out of the game for 2 or 3 years injured. You've just got to persist.
Yeah, but he'd kicked 50 goals, I think.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Before that happened, we haven't seen anything from Reed.
Yeah, I go patience.
You're right. And I think that's a bit like people. I did see some comments about Sardis last night and Cox and guys like that. And I thought these are kids. Like Sardis has played 6 games, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Cox would have played 30.
Yep.
I know there was a horrible moment when he dropped that mark in the forward. The other Cox was
chest marks are okay sometimes, Nick. And I would say about Sardis, because I saw some of the Viritol as well.
Yeah, like
he took on some kicks.
Yep, and he didn't get them.
And you got to go, righto, he's played 5 games and he's got the balls in front of 74,000 people. Guts, I shouldn't say balls. He's got the guts in front of 75,000 people to take that kick. Your toxic masculinity, a little bit. Well done, kid.
Yeah,
it didn't come off. Learn your limitations. And that's something that Waller had to learn, what he could take on. Because remember, he used to get ping holding the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And then he figured it out. Perkins is a bit the same now. Takes on a lot, needs to figure out where his limits are. That's what Sardis is doing.
I mean, 5 games. You can't just burn him at 5 games. He's no good. And interrupted season. So anyway, I really do hope some of those guys bounce back with really good seasons next year and sort of stick it up some of these supporters.
Yeah. And we are now today.
I blame the guys I get frustrated with guys like Langford, Redmond, and guys who played 150 games or 100 plus games. And if they're still spuds or doing stupid things, I'm going, I can understand people's frustration towards Heppel. He's played nearly 200 games.
Putting Langford in that conversation.
Sorry, Laverde. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I get the L's wrong. I can understand why people get frustrated with Heppel when you watch him do something stupid. You go, for fuck's sake.
Which he did last night. The very first goal they kicked, or second goal they kicked, left Ginnivan all alone, went up the contest, didn't impact it whatsoever, and Ginnivan kicked a goal.
And you're like, you should be better than that. Like, if that was a 10 game, you go, well,
that's just footy IQ.
Yeah. But when you play 200 plus games, that's fucking embarrassing.
That broke me more than anything else. We are, for the sake of this round, Adelaide, Richmond, and Geelong supporters.
Yes, hoping everyone beats. Yeah,
no issues with percentage. They just have to win, and they will go.
Fremantle too.
Us. No, we're 8 points ahead of Freo somehow.
That's that. How are we in front of Geelong?
Yeah, percentage tells you a lot. Our percentage is 89.7. Theirs is 115. So that tells you a bit. When they win, they're still a strong club. They just fuck it up too often.
Well,
Adelaide are 115% in 13th.
But they're scoring. They're all teams that are clearly scoring. They're still working out the defence, but they're scoring. We can't score anymore. Like, at the halfway mark, we were able to kick 100 points a few times.
Well, we've got 67 points.
Close to that.
67 points the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, we haven't even come close to that over the last 6 or 7. Even against West Coast and North, we didn't kick that many goals.
Yeah, you're right.
So, where do you think Parrish is going? Or do you think he's going? Maybe I'm concerned, and look, I like Parrish as a player. I understand his deficiencies, the kicking that people bag on him, but that's not. I don't care. And if you look at the stats of other players that play his role, he's about where they all are.
Do you understand how questions work?
Yeah, I'll let you answer them. I'm just finishing my question. It's a long-winded question.
Where do you think Parrish is going? Do you think he's going? Continues to talk.
Yeah, okay. I've got some issues. So yeah, I'm wondering if you are more concerned that because now it's past the end of the year and it's been no notification, and it's even past his 150th game, which I thought might have been a nice little occasion, that things keep reading like he's
2 points.
You answer. Go.
Okay, thanks. 2 points, and I said this to you earlier. We spoke on the phone because we're actually real friends, not just do a podcast together. Oh, okay. There's 2 parts of me. One is, why would you want to stay? He is putting his head over the footy. He's winning the ball. I would venture to say he's not the problem per se.
No.
But then the other side of that, if you're a professional athlete, I mean, I'm just guessing here because obviously not a professional athlete.
Oh no, what about your under 14 career?
Under 12s.
Under 12s.
Yeah, went downhill from there. Any sort of professional sports person, I think, should have the drive to improve it. Like, okay, yes, you can leave it because it's a bit shit, or you can stick around and fucking make it better, improve
and
it.
And have
your satisfaction at the end, possibly, probably not, let's be real, that you affected the change and you built a club up. Or
you made that club better, yeah.
You can piss off to Geelong or whoever it might be on the chance that you will play finals next year and get immediate success in a team that's already they're good enough. Who knows about Geelong, actually. Bad example. But you can go to a club that's already in the top 8 and just jump on as a passenger and all of a sudden you're playing in a grand final. Like,
yeah.
There's two sides to it.
Depends on how the kind of person he is, which I don't know him.
The talk is that he has an offer in front of him. He wants another year.
Yep.
I'm all for... two parts. I'm all for no one's bigger than the club.
Yes, but
pick your battles. If he wants an extra year, and it's going to take him through to being 32 instead of 31, and you're front end the contract, whatever, okay, doesn't really matter. For the sake of 1 year.
This is the last contract he'll probably sign. This is his only champion, not last. This is the first and biggest contract he'll ever sign with us or whoever it is.
Yep.
So, as football players, and I understand this is football players too, that they've got to take their opportunity now. I also agree with that if the club is at their detriment by signing up someone too much money, and we saw this at Collingwood. I don't want to use them as an example because they're bloody good now, which is annoying. But they had to get rid of players because they couldn't afford to keep them because they'd overpaid them. And that seemed to somehow fucking work out. Don't ask me. So that's not the sort of situation you want to get into either. So I understand the club's perspective and I understand his perspective, and I hope they can find some middle ground.
Respect the hustle.
Yeah.
If you're a top 5 player at the club and you're at contract negotiation time and you've got, I won't use Geelong, another club saying, we'll give you 6 years and $900,000 a year.
Yep.
Or we're offering you 5 years and 850.
Yep.
Well, yeah. Right.
If you work, Sam, don't you? Well, you turn up to a job.
I arrive, yeah.
If you had 2 employees chasing you, one offering you more than the other, and that's the one you're not at, you would be saying to the one you're at, look, these other guys are offering me a bit more. I want to stay because I like it here. I've got friends here. You need to bump up your offer or I'm going.
Yeah, correct.
And they might be saying, well, you're either loyal to us or you're not. You can go. And it's the exact same thing. And that's totally understandable. I don't have a problem with that. And I do think he's a very valuable player. Like, I think in a full season, Parrish could be top 5 easily Brownlow player.
He was. He has been.
Yeah. And I think he could easily do it again. So I he's a good enough player. And we saw that probably in the first quarter, first half. He was getting a lot of the pill, doing a lot, just no support.
Yeah.
Actually, what I know is he feeds it a lot to Merritt.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's winning the ball. That's his job, and that's
Merritt uses his kicking skills to move the ball to a target.
The only issue I have with Das is when he's on the run and what's the word? Unopposed.
Yep, great word.
And the kicking still lacks.
Yeah,
I can forgive the dodgy kicks when you're under pressure. That's completely fine.
100%.
And that's why those players are such a low kicking efficiency.
Yeah. But McGrath does the exact same thing, and he does it a lot of the time. He butchers the fucking thing. He's kicking his shit house. Mm-hmm. Yet no one's writing articles not articles, but Essendon supporters aren't saying fuck him off he can't kick. Like, they're all picking on Parrish. Parrish at least gets the bloody thing.
Yeah, no, that's McGrath, what we talked about a few weeks ago.
Falls into his hands occasionally, and he fucking runs off and butchers the thing.
This is what we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Darce's ability to win the ball is why he is required.
Yeah, because
the club.
I know people say that Hobbs will be able to do that call, but they're still only
kids.
At 30, 40 games.
Yeah, Parrish. We got Parrish in 2015.
He's at the 150-ish, I'm guessing, mark, or 120 probably.
Who?
Parrish. Oh, 150.
Just I think about it. Yeah. You literally mentioned it.
Yep, I got you. I'm here with you. So that's the skill that his next 100 games, that brings along the Hobbs and the Caldwell. That makes them get into the... Yeah. They're not having... If they were to become the number 1 midfielder next year, they will get flogged.
Yeah. It's protection.
Yeah.
And it's... North did it? Who tagged Merritt? Was it North or was it West Coast? One of them.
North did it. Yeah, yep.
Took Merritt out of it.
Yep.
But Das had 35 touches.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Okay.
Yeah.
Are we doing votes or are we going to give it a miss because it was just a bit shit? Again.
Should.
I haven't thought about it because I thought you'd say no for sure.
No, I had thought about it. It's disgusting to think that you wouldn't think that I would be thinking about things that I think about.
No, that's the most confusing sentence I've ever heard. I'll give Merritt 3.
Durham 2.
All right.
I thought he was very good. He still does his little Merritt Durham-y things. And I'll just give Nick Martin 1 because I saw him pop up a lot, even though he did some disgusting things. A couple of times he kicked one along the ground.
So you're giving Merritt 3 as well then?
Yeah, Merritt 3, definitely. He was clearly our best player. Like, his kicks into the forward line with there, he was tackling. In the first quarter, I thought Parrish was the best player, but he just didn't continue on. And I did see the young kid who came on for Collingwood when, what's his name, who got injured, went off. That he seemed to be really hanging around with Darcy, so he looked like he might have got a bit of a tag after that.
I'm going to give Parrish 2 because he still had 29 touches and 9 clearances. 9 tackles, 6 clearances. And in the spirit of send-off games, I'll give Waller 1.
For his what?
Rocking
3
up.
rundowns?
Just for rocking up. And he nearly made a tackle. He nearly chased someone down. It was beautiful.
I love the commentators that they were like, he's still at space. And then every time they were still getting rid of the ball, I was going, he used to catch him.
Yeah, he used to actually make the tackle. Anyway, that's just...
And he used to kick goals and do all these other things too.
One of those beautiful symbolic votes that we like to do because we're so shit and we can't actually give out real votes.
Was no VFL.
No VFL, no. Stay tuned for next week. We'll announce the winner of the second Don Pod Best and Fairest.
Ooh. Sam's got a lot of numbers to add up.
Can't even remember who won it last year. Is that bad? Oops.
You can go back and find the audio, mate.
No, not that interested.
I reckon it was Peter Wright, wasn't it?
I think it was Das who just pipped Wright, I think.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. It's not like we get them on for an interview or anything.
So where to from here, do you reckon, Sam? Like, what does the club do over the next few weeks?
Beautiful.
Players go off and get pissed.
Beautiful, glorious off-season. The most simple time of my life.
I love the fact that I won't be waking up next week frustrated by my team, at least. I struggled to sleep last night just thinking about it. Going,
I tuned out. I don't have the emotional connection. Once you lose by 126 points, that's me emotionally checked out.
I can't help but still analyze it or think about it and go, well, why does he do that? And why are they playing that? And why is he...
I just leave it in my own tiny brain as there's still issues. Behind closed doors, there are still issues. We are a joke of a football club at times. We sacked our coach after 2 years, went after not Hardwick, the other guy, Clarkson, who didn't want to come to us. Oh, Harry hindsight for sure. And you've said this, it isn't even my thing. Kept truck last year, got to halfway through the season, still a bit shit. Well, guess who we could have gone after? Mr. Hardwick.
Ex-Essendon Premiership coach, sorry. And no, not captain. Player.
Premiership player. Premiership coach.
Yep. 3-time Premiership coach.
Again, that's Harry hindsight. I'm okay with that. But there's still obviously issues off field. A lot of talk about Kevin Sheedy still trying to pull too many strings.
I still think Scott sends mixed messages. I still don't care for his messaging.
Yeah, some weirdo messaging there, a bit like John Worsfold and his learnings. I give Scott credit at least in that from the get-go. He said, we're a work in progress. And even when we were 5th on the ladder, it was the same messaging. So I'll give him a little bit of credit in that he maybe sort of saw it coming. We kind of sort of saw it coming, but not 21 goals.
No, and I still can't deal with the selections over the last several weeks. That everything was falling to shit for probably, before the Sydney game. And yet the selection didn't show that there was anything changing.
Back to your original question, where to now? the off season's going to be interesting. The list changes, the trade period. If we lose BZT, how much that forces our hand with Mackay possibly.
I don't want to be forced.
Our
though.
boy Cal Twomey had on Twitter yesterday, day before, that Dougal Howard's available.
Oh yeah,
From St Kilda, 199.
He's an option.
94 kilo, I think, defender. Not brilliant, but I would. It's a bit moneyball. I'd rather pay half the price, if not less, for him.
Yep.
Get, maybe marginally less output because it's a tight over. Give us time to get Reid right, and if Dougal Howard's 27, I think, yeah, it might do it.
Yep. The other one I've been hearing a bit about, and I'm curious to get your view on, is a Fremantle player. I'm just struggling to think of his name. He's a wingman, young, skinny-looking little kid. I think it's Liam Henry.
Okay, I wouldn't name him from Bar of Soap.
Well, he doesn't look like a bar of soap.
I like how you've described a football player as young and skinny.
Well,
That's pretty
he's
much,
slight.
that's all of them.
Okay, so he's slight and he plays on a wing and he sprints up and down the ground.
Freo are just a bit like, who knows anything about Freo, really?
Anyway, I think our issues fall around small forwards pressure, tall defenders, and tall forwards.
Defensive midfielders.
I think, yeah.
Which actually, sorry, can I just say there?
Midfielder can defend.
Setterfield actually appeared to make a somewhat of a difference once we stopped being complete tools.
Yep.
10 tackles.
Yeah.
For him. And he laid a tackle within about the first 3 seconds. And I went, oh my God, we've got a tackling defensive-minded midfielder again. So,
but again, he's been playing VFL for the last 3 weeks. Or 2 weeks.
He missed one game, essentially, when he could have played AFL. Or 2.
Well, then why didn't he? Like, why isn't he someone...
Well, I mean, I probably just trying to keep him fit, but then you...
Why are we playing Snelling?
Yeah, okay. I'm not arguing. Well, just trying to...
Because I think we got him to the club because he's a 194 something midfielder who can tackle and do a bit of a roll.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. We've been screaming for one of them for years. And there's one that was top 12 pick, came. And the first, 10 games he played before he got injured or whatever it was, looked really good. His structure was helping us. He was helping Parrish.
Exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, he was helping Parrish and Merritt play their roles and all that sort of stuff. You thought, yep, beauty. Got injured, fair enough. And then played, I reckon, 2 games in the VFL before he came back.
I think you played 1, then the VFL had
and then there was a bye.
So he didn't even play. Yeah, weird. But he had
Stringer came back injured and Draper came back injured.
Different injuries. And I'm only devil's advocate here. Setterfield's was a broken foot, like a crack or something in his foot, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Stress-related injury. Yeah. So I can
fair enough.
Forgive it. Anyway, we're going to leave it there because it's just nothing to talk about. We'll take a deep dive next week into the full season and then maybe what we think might happen in terms of list changes. Until then, thank you for listening.
Thank you, everyone.
That was heartfelt. Thank you, Nathan. We appreciate your time and support. Go Dons, Toodle Pip.
Go Bombers. No pipping.